We live in a spiritual universe that consists of one infinite, perfect, first cause. It is the source and substance of all. It is all life, intelligence, creative energy, harmony, beauty, and love. It expresses all around us as the physical universe, and it expresses through and as each one of us. And that every one of us can experience the goodness of spiritual first cause as we are true to ourselves as spiritual beings expressing into this world, as we resonate with a sense of being one with all and live from this sense. Now, of course, so many of us have experienced things that do not feel like unlimited spiritual goodness. And this is because we are at a certain stage of our spiritual development and evolution where we tend to have a number of limited beliefs. As individuals and as groups of individuals, these beliefs are not even true, but because we believe them, they have a tendency to filter that spiritual creative energy flowing through us and distort it so that it may express as circumstances that we really don't care for. And we can do something about this, advancing our spiritual development. That is, by knowing that every one of us, no matter who we are, what our circumstance, that at the center of our being, there is this radiant spiritual presence that is infinite first cause as us, as the essence of our being, and that it inspires and gives good without limit all the time. Now, of course, we don't always listen to it and respond to it the same. And yet it is there, even in the depths of the most difficult circumstances, that someone may say, life should be better than this. And even in that, Spirit is still speaking to us. It is saying, yes, life should be better than this. And it can be better than this. And it will be better than this. As we let go of beliefs of limitation, have a greater idea of ourselves, of each other, and the wholeness of life. That is, within every one of us, we have a deep belief that life itself is good. And that is why we are surprised and alarmed when something happens that violates, deep down we know to be true. And we can use this to our advantage, that if something happens in my life that is surprising and alarming, and if this is not the goodness of life, I can take this as a reminder that I have a choice. I'm at a crossroads. I can go down the path of familiar, limited thinking. The past determines the future. My good comes from random circumstances. Other people can take away my good. That I am alone. I can feel fear and anger, resentment, and so on. But even in that, Spirit is still speaking to me, saying, you can think anything you want. Does this help you feel better? Does it help in any way? Maybe there is another choice. And there is that other choice, the other path, to be willing to let go of any preconceived idea, to be willing to be open, to be inspired and transformed by that spiritual presence, and then expect a response That is the other choice. And I'd like to share with you something that happened to me that could be seen as an analogy to this. Back in the 1980s, I lived across the street from a baseball park. It was called Crockett Park. The team was a minor league team called the Charlotte O's. And I still have some baseballs from back then that I just picked up from my front yard. They just show up. I have quite a few of them. And one day, we were all surprised and alarmed when the stadium building caught on fire. Now, fortunately, that included the first responders who showed up. And one thing they did not do was sit around and wallow in self-pity and blame and negative thinking. No, they used their training to be the solution. The police blocked off all the roads around Crockett Park, and those of us there, we couldn't get in or out of our driveways for quite a few hours. And the fire department, they put out the fire and kept it from spreading out into the neighborhood. And that we can see this as an analogy. That any time my good in my circumstances catches on fire and burns down, and I'm surprised and alarmed, I can be a first cause responder. That is, first, block off all the traffic. To say to any limited belief, anything that's fear-based, I choose to not believe in this anymore. I know that this has no power over me. And then the second part, to respond from my own training of my spiritual practice to know a greater idea that comes from the receptive part of spiritual practice, being open to being inspired, always a greater idea about self and all of life, and the active part, that I can speak my word, I can affirm the good, I can say the prayer or the treatment, create an opportunity for Spirit to express through me in a new way. That is, that anytime I see the good in my life circumstance catch on fire and burn down, and I say, life should be better than this, that life itself responds and says, yes, life should be better than this, and it can be better than this, because life itself is better than this, and I awaken to it in a new and wonderful way. And so it is. Thank you for watching. You may subscribe, like, or please write a comment about this video. And know that the Queen City Center for Spiritual Living, and really all of New Thought, invites you to awaken to your spiritual magnificence.